When you lift, there's a concentric move and there's an eccentric move. Both of those movements are done at a slower rate than what you might think. A lot of people in a gym want to get through the rep quickly, and you're really not getting the full benefit of the movement unless you slow it down. The up and the down motion, whether it's legs or arms, what have you, it all really adds value to the work that you're putting in. I was raised in a Lutheran family. Went to a Lutheran grade school, Lutheran high school, and so we had Bible studies with every class, every year that I was in school. And one of the things that stuck with me is that your body is a temple, and I think it comes out of Corinthians, and I don't know the exact verse anymore, the exact quote, but that's always stuck with me, that you have this one body. This is what you get, and I liked that notion that it's a temple, that it's something that you should respect. It's something that you should take a responsibility for. It's something that is not to be squandered. We can't do anything about aging. It's going to happen. We have no control over that, but we do have some control over how our body decays. We can't stop decay, but we can lessen the rate of that decay. You travel to other places and people, especially I think in warmer climates where people are more body conscious and they have more opportunities to be outdoors, and they take advantage of those opportunities by keeping active. California or other places, Florida, that are warm, and you just see people that look like they're in better shape. They look like they're more fit because they can swim or they can run or they can walk 12 months out of the year. In Wisconsin, you come back here, and there's a lot of people that are just, overweight, and it kind of saddens me. And you don't know how many years you're going to get. My mom had 73 years. My dad got 90 years. I had a brother who got only 39 years. And that's a tough one. I was 16 at the time. And that does, you're still in those formative years. And that does really affect you. It affected me that, wow, you can die at an age where, it just doesn't seem, at 16, it didn't seem like he was even that old. But when I turned 39, that's a real, what would you call it, a watershed, that's a high water mark where you think, well, every year now I'm getting more than he got, and you got to do things with those years.
I have a lot of great clients. I have a lot of people who work hard, who take it seriously, but I think Lee, more than anyone, found that he hit that point where it did become just internalized. So internalized that I can't imagine him just giving it up. Lee he works out more than I do. He sends me text messages to keep himself accountable to me of what he's done each day, even if it's a rest day. And he just keeps at it.
I think in November of 2010, I just, for some reason, started to think maybe I should look into getting a personal trainer. And so I interviewed Jo, and I found out about her online. And I really liked her. We had coffee. She had tea, I think, and I had tea for that matter. We went to a coffee shop, Starbucks or someplace. And, I just liked what I heard from her. Jo's about my age, so she could relate to, the 55-year-old body that I had, and not a 25-year-old trainer who could only relate to 25, 30-year-old bodies. Big difference. And smart. She had been a college professor. She had been an entrepreneur, so she really I thought had a lot on the ball.
I do not cheerlead. I do not boot camp. It's very educational. I spent many, many years as a college teacher. Teaching is just ingrained, so I can't just tell people what to do. I have to explain to them what I want them to do, why I want them to do it, and make sure that they understand what they're trying to accomplish. I work from a principle called the framework principle, which is that every part of your body is connected. It needs to be able to do everything. So I don't just look at muscle. I look at bones, flexibility, balance, even mind-body connection exercises. So during the course of any one workout, there might actually be a yoga move in the middle of it, deep breathing, stretches, everything. It all has to go together because we are not simply made up of muscle. We've got the bones, ligaments, tendons, muscles. There's a whole lot that goes on with our brain and our body. Balance is all about being able to feel where your body is in space. It's all proprioception.
I didn't think he'd ever stick with it as long as he did. I thought, okay, he's going to pay his fee, and he's going to go with her till it runs out. He's going to pick her brain and get all the information, and then he's going to drop it and feel like he can do it on his own. And he didn't. He realized that she's the motivator that makes him accountable, which I certainly understand, because with Weight Watchers, it's the weigh-in and the group that makes people accountable to make it successful.
Structure is really important because you need to build strength training, fitness training, cardio into your life. I describe it as it's non-negotiable. It has to be there every day, or at least 6 days, 5 days a week minimum, like you eat, like you sleep. That's the habit. That's when you're in a groove. And I want to say routine, but it's not a routine because it changes. Every single Saturday that I meet with Joe, it's something different. So it's actually the antithesis of routine, but it's structure. The routine is that I work out 5 to 6 days every week. But the actual workout, whether she conducts the workout with me or I do it on my own, there are always variations on the theme.
I talked him into wearing a sleeveless shirt. We were out walking one day and it was hot, and he had his t-shirt with the sleeves, and I said, why don't you just wear sleeveless? And then he realized he's got arms now. He can let them out in public and they can be seen. So I mean, it's those small things that seem to just make a big difference.
Muscle strength is really important. I mean, it's not just to look good, to have some muscle definition is a good thing in terms of the aesthetic of a body, but if you have weight training in your life, you're really increasing your bone density. I mean, a lot of people, you hear this, they get osteoporosis. The old people, they're going to fall and break their hip. Well, that comes from having weak bone density, and the way to counteract that is to lift weights. My dad was the epitome of the workaholic, I would say, because I think at the peak of his workaholic tendencies, he owned 3 clothing stores in 3 separate towns, and he also owned 2 farms. And he had people working in all of those locations. I was born when my dad was 45 years old. So, I mean, my dad is doing this in his 60s and into his 70s, I think that's what he instilled in me was a work ethic. I see myself in an elite group, but I know that the older I get, the fewer people are in this group that I'm in. This elite group of people, and I say elite because it's a small fraction of the American population that's willing to work out on a regular basis. I take some pride in that, frankly. Day to day, you want to do the things that make you feel good. You want to be in the relationships that make you feel good, have the friends, that make you feel good. And in my case, exercising, it gives you a little euphoria, it's that endorphin release that you get. My dream is to be able to have the arc of my life and the arc of my health be one and the same, so that I live to be like my dad, 90, but unlike my dad, who really started getting sick at 80 and had 10 years of slow decline. I would like to have those 90 years and then maybe 5 days where I'm not feeling well. I can bring my family and friends around. I'm 90 years old. We can all say goodbye, and 5 days later, I'm gone. You know, that'd be the ideal way to have it work out.
A train left the station, left 2 lights on. The blue light was my heart, and the red light was my mind.